Prepare yourself to unlearn, not slogans, not emotional speeches, not the shallow left versus right theater designed to keep ordinary people distracted while real power remains untouched. Prepare yourself to unlearn the farce of the conservative right, not the caricature drawn by its enemies, but the version that actually operates, the one that behaves very differently from what it claims to defend. Let's make one thing absolutely clear from the start, without hesitation or apology. There is nothing wrong with having money. There is nothing wrong with getting rich. There is nothing wrong with inheriting wealth. Wealth is not immoral. Inheritance is not a crime. Profit is not a sin. Anyone who works, creates value, takes risks and prospers, honestly owes no explanation to anyone. Wealth has never been the problem. The problem has always been the lie used to hide privilege. The modern conservative right likes to present itself as the defender of merit, economic freedom, and the free market. But when you stop listening to what it says and start watching what it actually protects, the illusion cracks. Because defending real economic freedom means accepting real competition, accepting new players entering the market, accepting the loss of old protections, accepting risk, and that is exactly what this conservative right refuses to do. It talks about free markets while protecting untouchable cartels. It talks about competition while shielding monopolies. It talks about risk while socializing losses. It talks about merit while living under regulations designed exclusively for those already at the top. This is not capitalism. This is a closed market disguised as liberalism. It is modern feudalism with better branding. Economic freedom is not a campaign slogan. Economic freedom is access. It is the real possibility for ordinary people to open businesses without being crushed by selective bureaucracy. It is the ability to compete without facing state-protected giants. It is the chance to grow without political favors, without connections, without backroom deals. It is the right to get rich through honest work. When a system blocks that, no matter what it claims, it is not free. The conservative right loves to accuse the left of using the state to control society, and often that accusation is accurate. The problem is that it does the same thing, just more quietly. The left grows by promising protection. The conservative right grows by promising freedom. In practice, both use the state when convenient, both close the system, both extract resources from those who work to protect those who rule. The method changes, the outcome does not. Ordinary people keep paying the bill. This is where one of the most effective lies ever sold as virtue appears. Rhetorical meritocracy. Merit is not a phrase. It is not a meme. It is not an ideology. Merit is an environment. It only exists where competition is real, rules are simple, taxes are fair, risk is shared, and political protection is absent. When the game is closed, when access is restricted, when winners are chosen in advance, talking about merit is not ignorance, it is deception. The modern conservative right praises merit while fighting to preserve market barriers, while blocking reforms that would reduce entry costs, while protecting entire sectors from competition. That is not defending merit. That is defending protected income. It is living off power while pretending to live off effort. And no, this has nothing to do with tradition, family, or morality, even though those themes are constantly used as smokescreens. Families are not destroyed by cultural debates or online arguments. Families are destroyed by chronic economic insecurity, low wages, abusive taxation, and lack of opportunity. When the conservative right votes against policies that reduce living costs, expand opportunity, and strengthen economic independence, it is not defending real families, it is defending a narrative. Morality becomes a tool, not a principle. It exists to create symbolic enemies, to dominate attention, to generate selective outrage, and to prevent people from asking the only question that matters: who benefits from the system exactly as it is? While society fights over symbols and identity, capital flows remain protected, concentrated, and silent. The same logic applies to the idea of a minimal state. The state was never minimized. It simply changed owners. For ordinary citizens, fewer protections, more risk, more burden. For large economic groups, cheap credit, tax exemptions, legal shields and bailouts during crises. This is not liberalism, it is crony capitalism. When this model starts to face criticism, nationalism becomes theater. Flags, anthems, emotional speeches. Meanwhile, strategic assets are sold, local industry weakens, economic sovereignty dissolves, patriotism becomes aesthetics, surrender becomes policy. Flags do not create jobs, anthems do not build infrastructure. To keep this structure intact, an enemy is required. The conservative right creates abstract figures, the leftist, the globalist, the intellectual, the teacher, the artist. Enemies that generate engagement but pose no threat to real power. Meanwhile, those who actually control financial flows, market rules, and institutional frameworks remain invisible. The enemy exists to occupy attention, not to change reality. Here is the truth few will admit. Both the left and the conservative right fear the same person, the economically free individual, the one who works, builds, creates value, takes risks, grows without favors, and refuses dependence on the state. This person does not fit any narrative. He does not ask for guardianship. He does not accept ideological control. He is dangerous to the political theater. Real economic freedom threatens both sides. That is why you should be suspicious of anyone who attacks wealth publicly while living off privilege privately. Suspicious of anyone who claims to defend freedom while closing markets. Suspicious of anyone who speaks of merit while protecting their own game. The fraud is not in ideology, it is in behavior. There is nothing wrong with getting rich. There is nothing wrong with inheriting. There is nothing wrong with winning. What is wrong is pretending to defend freedom while preventing others from reaching the same point. What is wrong is using the state as a shield while demanding sacrifice from those who produce. What is wrong is playing opposition while feeding from the same system you pretend to fight. Prepare yourself to unlearn, because the real division has never been left versus right. It never was. The real divide is between those who live from their own work and those who live from power. Between those who create value and those who extract protected income. Between those who want real economic freedom for everyone and those who defend it only for themselves. This is not left against right. It is freedom against manipulation. If you believe that anyone should be able to get rich through honest work, if you reject both leftist control and conservative hypocrisy, then this message is for you. Subscribe to the channel. Share this content. Support ideas that defend real economic freedom for ordinary people. We do not sell ideology here. We expose structures. And once the structure is exposed, the game begins to change. And when the game begins to change, there is no going back.